The Chicago Bears are doing something that simply wasn't supposed to happen. Not this year, not with a rookie quarterback, not after years of rebuilds that never quite clicked. Yet here they are, sitting on top of the NFC North while Green Bay stumbles, Minnesota scrambles for answers, and Detroit tries to figure out why the team everyone wrote off is now the one everyone fears. It's not a fluke. It's not a soft schedule. This is a team playing with a calm confidence that feels dangerous and completely unexpected. What makes this run so unsettling for the rest of the division is how quietly it's happening. There's no bravado, no headlines screaming about destiny. Just wins. Ugly ones, close ones, resilient ones. Stacked week after week against different kinds of opponents in different kinds of games. They've beaten physical defenses, outlasted high-powered offenses, and stayed composed in moments that usually break young teams. And the league is starting to notice, because when a team keeps finding ways to win without relying on luck, you have to ask, is this the start of something real? At the center of it all stands a 22-year-old quarterback who's already being judged by every hot take on the internet. One week, he's not ready, the next, he's the future. But the truth on the field tells a different story, one of steady growth, smart decisions, and a poise that doesn't match his experience. And that's where this story truly begins. Because behind the wins and the standings is a young leader learning to command a team that's starting to believe it belongs among the NFL's most feared. The Chicago Bears didn't just draft a quarterback, they placed the entire rebuild in the hands of Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick and the only true rookie under center leading a team this season. From day one, expectations were sky high, but the noise around him has been louder than his actual play. Critics point to modest box scores or a few missed throws, but what they're missing is how he's managing chaos most rookies can't even process. In the middle of Lambeau or US Bank Stadium, while fans scream and pass rushers close in, Williams isn't panicking. He's resetting, scanning, and making the smart play, not the flashy one. What stands out isn't just his arm or athleticism, it's his ability to learn from pressure, not crumble under it. Early in the year, a collapsing pocket often meant lost yards or a sack. Now he's slipping tackles, keeping his eyes downfield, and either delivering strikes into tight windows or throwing the ball away to live another down. That shift, from reactive to in control, hasn't gone unnoticed inside Halas Hall. Coaches are trusting him with more audibles, more freedom, and more responsibility because he's proving he can handle it. This isn't a kid figuring it out week to week. This is a quarterback growing up fast. And that growth is happening just in time, because as good as Williams has been in pockets of pressure, he can't win alone. He needs a plan that hides his inexperience while highlighting his strengths. He needs an offense built not for highlight reels, but for real NFL defenses that study tendencies and exploit predictability. That's where the next piece of Chicago's puzzle comes in. A coordinator who's flipping the script on what an NFL offense should look like in 2025. And it's not what anyone expected. Ben Johnson didn't come to Chicago to run a copy-paste offense. He walked in with a playbook built on deception, discipline, and one simple rule. Don't let the defense know what's coming until it's too late. While most teams line up in spread sets and rely on tempo, the Bears are doing the opposite. Tightening formations, lining up under center, and using condensed receiver groupings that look run-heavy even on obvious passing downs. It's not old school, it's strategic. And it's working against defenses that expected speed, not structure. Against Minnesota, Johnson used 8 different personnel groupings, more than most teams use in 2 games combined. He barely touched the 3 wide receiver look that dominates today's NFL, instead leaning on 2 tight end sets, heavy backfields, and motion that forces defenders to hesitate. That hesitation is everything. In a league where split-second reactions decide games, making a linebacker or safety guess, even for a moment, opens doors. And with a young quarterback still learning to read complex coverages, reducing those reads before the snap is more valuable than any deep ball. This approach isn't about limiting Caleb Williams. It's about giving him time, clarity, and control. By masking intentions and shortening decision trees, Johnson is letting Williams operate with confidence instead of chaos. But even the smartest scheme needs execution on the ground, literally. Because none of this works if Chicago can't move the chains, eat clock, and keep elite offenses off the field. That's where the next layer of their identity kicks in. A ground game that's not flashy, but absolutely essential. While everyone watches Caleb Williams, the Bears are winning time of possession battles with a rushing attack that doesn't rely on breakaway speed. It thrives on persistence. DeAndre Swift, a veteran with playoff experience, isn't putting up gaudy yardage numbers, but he's moving the chains when it matters. Beside him, undrafted rookie Kyle Monangai has emerged as a reliable short yardage hammer, converting 3rd and inches and grinding out clock in the fourth quarter when leads are thin. Together, they're not chasing highlight reels, they're executing a plan that treats every carry like a chess move. Chicago's coaching staff knows this team isn't built to win shootouts yet. So instead of forcing the ball downfield against stacked secondaries, they're leaning on runs that set up play action, force defenses to respect the line of scrimmage, and keep the Bears' own defense fresh. It's a patient formula, but it's already paying off. Games that could have turned into defensive fatigue fests end with opponents gasping for snaps they never got. And in a division where every possession can swing the standings, that control is as powerful as a touchdown. But here's the catch. Grounding a game plan and ball control only works if you can finish when you reach the red zone. Too many trips have ended in field goals instead of 6 points, leaving wins feeling tighter than they need to be. That's a problem no amount of clock management can fully solve. And it's why the Bears' offense needs more than just structure and toughness. It needs playmakers who can turn 3rd and long into first downs and close quarters into points. Fortunately, a new wave of targets is stepping up just when they're needed most. While DJ Moore draws double teams and headlines, the real evolution of Chicago's offense is happening in the margins, with guys who weren't on anyone's radar 2 months ago. Luther Burden, a rookie wideout taken in the 2nd round, is already stealing snaps from veterans because of his sudden explosiveness after the catch and ability to turn slants into first downs. He's not just filling space, he's changing drives. And then there's Colston Loveland, a rookie tight end who might be the offense's most reliable weapon on 3rd down. Consistently moving the chains with strong hands and subtle route adjustments that free him just enough in tight coverage. This isn't about replacing stars, it's about building depth that keeps defenses honest. Rome Odunze, Chicago's other rookie receiver and a 1st-round pick, has quietly become a steady outside threat, using his size to create separation without needing perfect throws. Meanwhile, Cole Kmet remains a safety valve over the middle, but he's no longer carrying the tight end workload alone. Loveland's emergence has given the Bears flexibility to mix run and pass looks without tipping their hand. The result? Caleb Williams now has multiple answers when pressure comes, not just one escape valve. What's happening here isn't accidental. It's a deliberate shift toward a balanced, multi-option offense that doesn't collapse if one player has an off day. And that kind of resilience matters most when the game's on the line and the other team is selling out to stop your best weapon. But even with this growing cast of contributors, Chicago's ability to survive tough nights and win ugly doesn't just come from the offense. It comes from a defense that doesn't wait for perfection. It creates chaos. And when it does, the entire game flips in seconds. Chicago's defense isn't built to shut out opponents for 4 quarters. It's built to steal games in a single snap. While other units pride themselves on clean sheets and quiet sidelines, the Bears thrive in chaos, and they manufacture it on purpose. They sit near the top of the league in takeaways, not because they're lucky, but because every player on that side of the ball is trained to hunt the football like it's the only thing that matters. And in today's NFL, where margins are razor thin, one forced fumble or tipped interception can erase an entire half of offensive struggle. The engine of that aggression starts up front. Grady Jarrett, signed as a high-impact veteran free agent, isn't just holding the point of attack, he's driving guards backward into the quarterback's lap, shrinking throwing lanes before receivers even break their routes. On the edge, Montez Sweat, acquired in a midseason trade last year and now fully settled, has become a nightmare against play action, using his length and speed to embarrass tight ends and collapse the pocket from the outside. Together, they create a vice that doesn't need constant blitzing to rattle quarterbacks. Pressure comes from structure, not desperation. And that's the key. This defense wins without gambling. They don't rely on exotic schemes or risky coverages. They win with disciplined line play that forces hurried throws and then count on the guys behind them to make those mistakes hurt. Because in Chicago, turnovers aren't just welcomed, they're expected. And when the front four squeezes the pocket just right, the next play might not belong to the offense at all. It might belong to a secondary that's been waiting all game for its chance to strike. Chicago's defensive backfield doesn't wait for perfect coverage to make a play, it capitalizes on the slightest crack. Kevin Byard, a seasoned veteran with a nose for the ball, patrols the deep middle like a quarterback whisperer, reading eyes and jumping routes before the ball even leaves the hand. Then there's rookie cornerback Nate Nan Wright, who's already held his own against elite talent like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, using physicality and instincts to win contested catches most first-year corners avoid. He's not just holding ground, he's making statements. Around them, the depth is just as dangerous. Jaquan Brisker delivers thumping support near the line, turning short gains into painful memories. Jalen Johnson, when healthy, erases entire sections of the field with his man coverage. Slot versatility comes from CJ Gardner-Johnson and Kyler Gordon, both capable of matching shiftiness with smarts and suddenness. This isn't a unit leaning on one shutdown corner or a single big hit. It's a collective, one where every defender believes the ball is coming their way, so they play like it. That mindset turns pressure into points. When Jarrett or Sweat forces a flinch from the quarterback, this secondary doesn't let the ball flutter to the turf. They attack it, intercept it, return it. And that's what makes the Bears so unnerving to face. You can move the ball for 3 quarters, but one rush throw or tip pass becomes a touchdown the other way. Still, even a defense this opportunistic has its limits. Because in the NFL, talent only carries you so far. Execution in the clutch, especially on special teams and in the red zone, decides who's a contender and who's just hot for a moment. And Chicago's next stretch of games will test every ounce of that execution. The next 5 weeks won't just measure the Bears' talent, they'll expose whether this surge is built to last. Chicago now faces a brutal stretch. Road trips to Philadelphia and San Francisco, home dates against Detroit and Green Bay, and a showdown with a physical Pittsburgh defense that thrives on short fields and mistakes. These aren't teams looking to play spoiler. They're playoff-caliber squads with coordinators who've had weeks to study Chicago's tendencies, and they won't hesitate to punish red zone inefficiency or special teams lapses. Right now, the margin for error is shrinking. Missed kicks from Cairo Santos, who's nailed walk-offs but also had recent slips, could cost wins that used to feel secure. Punter Torrey Taylor, still a young player finding consistency, must deliver in clutch field position battles against teams like the 49ers who turn every yard into pressure. And while Devin Duvernay has given the Bears explosive returns, one muffed punt against a team like the Eagles could swing momentum instantly. In tight games against elite opponents, those hidden phases aren't just supporting acts, they're often the deciding factor. But here's what makes this moment so pivotal. The door in the NFC is genuinely open. The Rams are inconsistent, the Eagles beatable, the 49ers vulnerable. If Chicago cleans up clock management, converts more red zone trips into touchdowns, and tightens coverage in critical situations, they're not just sneaking into the playoffs. They're positioning themselves as a team no one wants to face in January. What started as a surprise is now a test of discipline, detail, and nerve. And if they pass it, the league won't just respect the Bears, they'll fear them.